Hello and welcome to this video. Today on this stream we are going to talk about weekly seasonal anime episode tier list for summer 2020 for the date 24th of August until 30th of August. So disclaimer, this tier list is only gonna cover anime that I'm actually watching this season, and this is a purely opinionated tier list. Hope you enjoy it. Without further ado, let's start it. Okay, first on Monday we have Monster Girl Doctor. This episode, it is about the Doctor meeting Aranya for the first time, and Aranya tried to rape him. So they went to get the herb together, and then almost got raped. But Salia saved him, and then they duel. Nothing much, to be honest. There is a good scene at the end where the Doctor pledged loyalty to Safe, where he pledged that he would stay loyal to her, would be with her. I think that's okay, but animation wise, nothing impressive. It's Monster Girl Doctor is still Monster Girl Doctor, so I'll put it at C. It is okay, but it could be better. Now, on Tuesday, we have God of High School. So, in this episode, at first we got some fight scene between two regions that I don't know. But in one of the regions, one of the contestants have the same logo as Jin's grandpa. So, after the match, Jin met Park Il-pyo. And Park Il-pyo knew his grandpa when he was a child. And then they actually both of them had a fight with the chariot dude who have the shark chariot. That was, I think they're gonna have a better fight next, probably in the future episode. And then we got some backstory about Jin and his grandpa, where his grandpa left him when he was 6. I think the best part of this episode is probably during his birthday. Dewi and Mira came to celebrate with him, enjoyed some food, some dessert, and I think that moment is actually very wonderful because he actually made some friends, probably the first time since his grandpa left, right? That was sweet. So there's no amazing crazy fight scene going, but I think B is adequate for it. Yeah. There's no crazy fight scene. Oh, but by the way, at the end of that episode, Jin's grandpa is confirmed to have been caught by the cult. So we'll see what happened in the next episode. So and also on Tuesday we have Fruit Basket season 2. Okay, this episode's Fruit Basket is actually really good. Because that episode actually focused on Yuki and his childhood. We've never seen them. We've got some glimpses before, but we've never seen the whole thing, right? So Akito, Yuki was given to Akito because if you know, based on the order of zodiac, the rat is the first, right? So the rat should be the closest to the god. So Yuki was handed to Akito by his mom. To be honest, Akito was quite okay at first. He was quite nice, not the best, but he was nice. But then suddenly, one day, Akito just become a full-on jerk, and he just morally abused Yuki each day. To the point, I think he put Yuki into depression. This is kind of sad, to be honest. We didn't know this part of Yuki before. We know he was abused, but not to this level. Each day he was thrown abuses after abuses after abuses, verbal abuses, to the point where he almost wanted to kill himself. His mother abandoned him. Oh, Ayame also didn't help him. Kyo blamed him. I think he literally broke, which is kind of sad to see Yuki in that. But after that, at one point I think he wanted to run away, And in that scene, he met small Toru, that whole scene is lovely. I think because I love that scene, to be honest. Because Toru needed someone to help her, and Yuki he want to feel needed, right? Because one of the thing that where the Akito said to him that nobody need him. So in that scene, Toru really need Yuki, and that's the first time he really feel needed. And I think that as a whole is a very powerful scene. I would put that as a really great episode by Fruit Basket standard. Yeah, S is appropriate. A lot of backstory, a lot of emotional moments. Yeah, that's. I think that's appropriate. Yeah. Now, on to Wednesday. On Wednesday, we have Hokagote Bonishi. So in this episode of Hokagote Bonishi, it is rainy season, so they can't fish. They can't go to the club because the club is far away from their school. So So they decided to go freshwater shrimp fishing, which is I think the first time they are fishing for something. Oh no, this is the second time they are fishing for something that is not a fish. So they went for shrimp water fishing because firstly the river is close to the school, and the equipment was kept in the infirmary, their advisor's place. I think I love this episode because they spent the whole episode on fishing and not on something else, and also because Hina was hilarious when she struggled to catch anything, but at least she managed to catch something. Hina struggling briefly made the episode. I would put it at a solid A. Decadence. So Decadence this week, it's a continuation from last week where they want to destroy the factory. So we have a heist episode where they want to steal back Kaburagi's avatar. And then that heist was pretty good because they almost got caught by the administrator. After getting it back, Kaburagi went to face Natsume for the first time, and he asked Natsume to help him. And I think Natsume in that scene shows maturity and growth as a character, which is kind of good. But this episode was okay, I guess. Not the best, not the worst. A high B plus. Better, definitely better than God of High School, but not as exciting. Ooh, ReZero. Whew, there's a lot to unpack on this episode of ReZero. So at first we see Subaru confronting Roswell because Subaru wants to confirm about Beatrice. So at that point we knew that Beatrice was not part of the witch cultist, and the book that she read was not the witch cultist ghost spell, which is a great news for Subaru, let's be honest, because Beatrice have been one of those person that Subaru can always rely, and having Beatrice as an enemy is not something that he doesn't want that. So when they are trying to escape, Garfield came and he literally killed everyone. That was horrible, to be honest. That was heartbreaking. He even killed Otto in front of him. Oh, that was harsh. And then he killed Patrach, even though Patrach managed to save Subaru by pushing him out of the border. By the way, Garfield is such a big monster. When he transforms, he's bigger than Frederica, which is scary. Frederica is quite small, right? But Garfield is legit a monster, a giant. And then transported. After getting out of the barrier, the necklace glowed, and Subaru was transported back to the sanctuary. It is snowing, but then the whole town is empty. But Subaru met a small, cute rabbit, a Mabis rabbit. It was cute, and then it was not cute because they killed Subaru like freaking horribly. There's shit ton of them, and they just went over him bite him. A lot of them bite him, gouging his eyes and thing. Oh, that was horrible to watch. And then there was Reset. But this time, he was called by Echidna. And apparently Echidna knows about the tea party. Echidna knows about his return by them. I think that scene is emotional. That scene is what probably make it the best episode this week. Because this is the first time Subaru can actually talk about it with someone. He can let that someone knows about his suffering, which is just, I'm glad for Subaru. Let's face it, this time he almost broke. He don't know what to do. But having Echidna, being able to tell everything to Echidna, is definitely is a big breather for him. Right, that episode definitely is one of the best episodes this week. A solid S, high S. Uzaki-chan. So this week on Uzaki-chan, Uzaki continued from last episode where she threw up on Sakurai futon. She got down and they talked. She became awkward. Oh, but then they went. I love the episode because this time they went on a firework festival. Right? The first thing is that he praised her. It somehow worked to stoke to make her cheerful again, but she suddenly hit him on the head with her bag. But the thing is, what I like this episode is because after that we get to see their backstory, how their relationship was in the past in their high school, because we've never the anime haven't tell us about this yet. So they weren't that close in high school, but I think Uzaki have a massive respect for him because Sakurai was kind to Uzaki and he helped her learn to swim, giving her constant encouragement, supporting her. And that scene where it is lovely that after that training they went to the firework festival together. That's all good. And then, but when he wake up, Uzaki is still down. Uzaki was giving him a lap pillow, by the way, which is cute. Uzaki is still down, and Sakurai tells her that while he was annoyed by her, he gradually got used to it, and he actually enjoyed her company, which definitely gonna improve Uzaki's state of mind, right? Because she knows that she's not just a nuisance, that she's actually being appreciated. I think that whole scene was lovely. I love that scene. It was cute. It was romantic, and it made them both closer. So, S+, S tier. Just a bit. I think. Is it like this? Which one do I like more? Yeah, I love Fruit Baskets more because I've been waiting for Yuki's. So the order is like this. Now, Fire Force. Ugh. Okay. So this episode of Fire Force, we learned that Amaterasu and Tabernacle was actually powered by a pillar and a dollar burst user. But since they are still fighting that demon, they needed more firepower. Shinra begs for help from the Dark Cloth Lady. Oh, but what I love about this episode is the fight between Oga and that demon. Oga's skill is pretty nice, to be honest. Where he get that fire tattoo, it was awesome. And I'm pretty sure that when he fight that demon, the fight have a lot of JoJo reference in it. Like muda. I think there's a lot of that. Pretty fun episode. And the fight was pretty good. B because the story is still bad. Lower than Decadence. Yeah. While the fight scene is good, the rest is okay, just okay. And now we'll go to Rent a Girlfriend. Oh, I have so much to talk about this one. Firstly, Rent a Girlfriend. This episode, first we start with Ruka and Kazuya, because now Ruka is technically Kazuya's girlfriend, so Ruka's being clingy. I love that. We know Ruka is gonna be clingy because this is her first love. That was cute, but Kazuya definitely doesn't like it. And then they didn't spend anything. They didn't spend any time on Christmas. What I don't like this episode is that Kazuya, he's the one ruining this episode, to be honest. At first he jerked off to Mizuhara, which is not great. You don't want to see that. And then he stalked Mizuhara the whole day on Christmas, which is not cool. It was creepy. And then he constantly imagined Mizuhara naked. Not creepy, not good. But then he got busted by Mizuhara. But this episode, I love that final scene because, okay, first we knew that it was first Mizuhara is just lovely in that scene, and then we knew that she actually became a rental because she wants to learn acting, which kind of makes sense, I think. But what's lovely is that she actually got a Christmas gift for Kazuya, and it is a phone case because his phone is broken, and the phone case have a fish because Kazuya loves fish, and their first date was in aquarium. That scene was lovely, but it still doesn't. I don't like that scene. It's not as bad. It's not as bad as Monster Girl Doctor, but it is definitely not that great because most of the time we spent is spent on Kazuya stalking. Not a big fan of that. Peter Grildy, I don't need to talk about this. Misfit of Demon Academy. So this week's story is mainly about the Demon Academy meeting the Hero Academy. Anos actually fights with two apparent reincarnation of Hero Canon, which is technically the one who killed. No, not killed. Technically, he promised Hero Canon that he would be friends with him, but those two aren't. According to Anos, those two aren't exactly Hero Canon incarnate. But they fight. They fight, and Anos won. Obviously, I think that was an okay episode. At least there's no romance in it. There is some, but cringy. So pressy. Definitely better than Monster Girl Doctor. SAO. This is a hard one. So this episode of SAO is mainly focused on Kirito fighting Miller. While the fight itself is beautifully animated, let me just say it was fucking breathtaking. The problem is not about the animation. The problem is about the power, the logic in that fight, right? There was some emotional moments, but there's a lot of things that doesn't make sense in that episode. For some reason, Miller become a colorful blob that looks like an angel. Yujo physically come back to life and block an attack by Miller, which doesn't make sense because he's dead and you can't come back to life in Underworld. And then Kirito's sword suddenly being able to absorb everyone's hope and wishes, even though before this it can only absorb life force in the air, which doesn't also make sense. A lot of things doesn't make sense. Kirito being able to grow a hand multiple. Kirito can suddenly fly, even though in alicization he can't fly. But alas, he killed Miller. The rest of the gang safely logged out. Alice was safely logged out. And then he got stuck in Underworld, right? Because he missed the window to escape. He was crying, and I love that scene after that, because I think Kirito was so sad that he's gonna spend the next 200 years basically stuck in another world without Asuna and his sister and Sinon and Klein. And then suddenly there's a footstep and Asuna was there. Asuna actually waited for him. But since they missed the window, Asuna is gonna spend 200 years with him, which is lovely. Because remember, people always complain that they don't spend enough time together. Now they're gonna spend 200 years together. I didn't expect Asuna to stay behind. I really didn't. It was a lovely surprise. How would I rank it? Animation wise, it was amazing, but it doesn't make sense. You have some emotional moment. High B, I guess. High B would make sense. Yeah, high B would make sense. So yeah, I think that's it. So the best episode this season is definitely ReZero. Fruit Basket has an amazing episode. Uzaki was amazing. SAO was a bit disappointing. But SAO I expected something like that. I expected the power. What do you call it? The power scaling is gonna be messed up because the author already messed up part 1 of Underworld. So I'm disappointed in that, but it is something that I expect to happen nonetheless. So that's it. Thank you for joining. I'll post this on YouTube. Like my video, comment my video, subscribe if you haven't. You can follow my other media such as Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch using the same name, AnimeBuuga. Thank you.